The developers just released a teaser trailer for the upcoming War of the Ruins Battle Royale in Rise of Kingdoms. So in this video, we're going to break it down and read between the lines on all the things we can see in this trailer, because although the majority is some of this cinematic stuff, there is also a little bit of gameplay and a lot that we can read into about how this new game mode is going to work. So stick around in this video for everything I've figured out so far about the new War of the Ruins coming to Rise of Kingdoms. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming and this video is sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms, and you might be as surprised as I was that we're getting a Battle Royale in Rise of Kingdoms. This is an 8-player game mode, and this teaser trailer that they just released gives us a small amount of new information, but by looking at some of the action and pausing, and I will take some choice screenshots to show you, there's actually a fair amount we can figure out by just looking at this footage. And I will point out that in general, this seems like a very small battlefield and matches will be very fast-paced. So unlike other Battle Royale games where you do a lot of probably hiding and maneuvering and exploring of a map, I don't know how much of that will be in this game mode, but let's get a look at some of these pictures and see. So the first thing I want to take a look at is the commander screen, and I can't tell if they just happen to have chosen all epic commanders for this experience, or if there are different epic commanders that you choose from, and those epic commanders have specific abilities. I think that's likely to be the case, but it looks like you get a primary and a secondary commander, and we see that there's this very standard icon that we see in game for switching out which commander you have. Now, if you have access to all of the commanders in your collection, that means your equipment might apply, and that would give governors a big advantage that have great equipment, aka, the strongest whales or the players that have concentrated their equipment in a small number of commanders will do really, really well. But I have a suspicion that maybe you just have a selection of like a smaller number of commanders that have some abilities. I guess we'll see once the game mode comes out. This is something you queue for solo. So if you wanted to play with some friends, it doesn't look like there's a way to go and do that unless you maybe smash the match button at the same time. And I bet you for some amount of times that you queue up, that will probably work. There also is the typical rules and rewards sections that we see, but unfortunately, they didn't actually, click into that and give us a look at what some of those more detailed rules are. I suspect we will get a video in the next probably week or two where the developers give us a sneak peek of the upcoming patch and they talk about, well, all the rules for this new event, or at least show us a little bit more than what we got here. You can see also in the upper left, there is something about the event load. So only so many War of the Ruins battles can be going on at a time. And I don't think for the most part this will be a problem, although when the game mode releases, I bet you everybody is going to be queuing for this thing. Now, getting into the game mode itself and the map, the reason I say I thought the map might be kind of small is I don't know, this is the center of the map, and I know that for sure, and I'll talk about why that is. Maybe this is bigger than I can see here, a lot bigger than I can see here, but what you're watching is players' troops moving toward neutral units to go and pick them up to add to their troop count, which is something that you're going to do at the start of this battle. Now, I think this green radius is the sort of green circle here, is what indicates perhaps either when the neutral units will come join you, like the sort of range in which they recognize you as someone who's claiming them, or also could have to do with the range of your attacks. I'm not entirely sure. And there are skills down here, and it looks like there's new skill available. Now, I can't tell if this is the very start of the match or if they picked up this skill, but in the trailer, it describes like finding, ancient treasure, and I think that has to do potentially with picking up some amount of new skills along the way. This next picture, I wanted to show you a couple things. One is that there are elite mercenaries and that those appear during the course of the battle, which I sort of wasn't expecting. So there are going to be mercenaries you pick up at the start, and then some number of mercenaries spawn in for you to add to your collection of troops. This, to me, supports the idea that the map might not be huge, because if the map was really huge, you'd be kind of like running all over the place. It's an 8-person game mode, right? And then I just wanted to point out also that Sun Tzu is in here. So far, we've only seen epic commanders as the possibilities here. I feel like if you could choose legendary commanders from your collection, they would have showcased that rather than picking all epic commanders, but at least you can drop some emojis on your opponent if you think you're about to win. As you can see here, twice as many troops, and there is a little crown icon on Blades Warfare. That's the player on the left with 80,330 troops. I think that crown icon is showing that they are the current troop leader, that they have the most troops. It could show that they're, I don't know, have somehow accumulated the most points, but points don't matter in this game mode. All that matters is being the last person standing. So weirdly enough, I suspect that the meta for this game mode is actually to avoid taking fights rather than being the person who initiates lots of fights, because I don't think you have a great way to get your troops back other than picking up mercenaries. And unless there's some big advantage you get for taking out another player, I suspect that taking out other players just leaves you vulnerable to being attacked by someone who's just been kind of hiding, collecting mercenaries, collecting elite mercenaries. I don't know if the elite mercenaries are actually a higher tier of troop or if they're just like a higher quantity of troops when you go and pick them up. And this screenshot is actually very important. It's showing a number of things. First of all, we see one more epic commander. We see that Scipio really likes to use the Cleopatra emoji, but also we see this sort of hurricane effect, maybe it's a sandstorm effect, that is basically representing the map closing in. And so this is why I knew the thing we've been looking at this entire time is the center of the map, because the description of the event says that essentially there is an area that closes in, closes in, closes in, closes in, forcing a final fight, which is how all Battle Royale games ultimately work. Usually you have a fairly large map, it closes in pretty quickly, and then you get that final battle, and you can leave this center area, but you take a bunch of damage doing so. I don't know what the speed is with which you take that damage, but it's probably pretty bad. Now, there is one other thing that happens here that's pretty cool, which is that you're going to see this player, Harv Flower, use an ability that clones their troops twice. So they start with 52,000, and then boom, there they go, bringing in twice as many troops on top of what they already had. And twice as many troops means twice as many emojis, obviously. So I think that this game mode could be very fun. They said that there are very impressive rewards and that there is a leaderboard. I don't know how that leaderboard and ranking system is going to work, if there will be seasons or if it will just be whenever the event shows up. I have a suspicion that this is an event like the Champions of Olympia that will sort of be here for a short window of time. And then either at the end of a weekend or at the end of whatever that time frame is, I guess it could be some number of weeks where they just leave the event up, you get a rank reward and maybe some sort of thing that you can show in your profile for how you have ranked well in this game mode. And then also there are probably participation rewards that you get along the way, both when the event shows up and also probably a currency you can turn in order to get some good stuff. I mean, I don't think they'll drop something as important as an iconic crystal here. I think probably the shop will have things much like what we see for Champions of Olympia, like action point potions and also epic materials, but probably not iconic crystals, which would be absolutely critical that everyone did this game mode if that were the case. I don't think that's the sort of reward we'll see. In my perfect world, I think this game mode would use just generic epic commanders, and you get to pick which epic commanders you want to pair together, but ultimately the pairing only really indicates what skills you have. That way everybody has an equal shot at being a top-ranked player in this new Battle Royale game mode. If there's anything I missed in this teaser about the new game mode, definitely let me know down below in the comments. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. And if you want to see a video with everything that's in this upcoming patch, I'll have a card up in the top for my full breakdown of this pretty major patch.